In an old, crumbling mansion on the outskirts of town, there was a room no one spoke about. The locals had many stories about what lay inside, but no one had dared to enter for decades. The house had stood abandoned for years, except for the occasional visitor who wanted to explore its decaying halls. One such visitor was Daniel, a history enthusiast fascinated by the rumors surrounding the mansion. It was a cold autumn day when Daniel decided to finally investigate the mansion. Armed with a flashlight and his camera, he wandered through the dark corridors, capturing images of the forgotten history that lingered in the dust-covered furniture and peeling wallpaper. As he explored, he found his way to the end of the hallway where the forgotten room lay, its door locked with a rusted chain. Curiosity gnawed at him. Why was this room sealed away when the rest of the mansion had been left open? He found an old twisted key hanging on a nearby hook, and it looked like it could unlock the door. With trembling hands, he inserted the key and turned it. The chain rattled and fell to the floor as the door creaked open, revealing a pitch-black room beyond. Inside, the air was thick and oppressive, as if the room had been sealed for centuries. Dust particles danced in the beam of his flashlight. The room was empty except for a small, ancient wooden chair in the center. On the chair sat a dusty mirror, its glass cracked but still reflecting the faint glow of the light. As Daniel stepped into the room, the door slammed shut behind him. His heart raced, but he tried to stay calm. He approached the mirror, feeling an eerie pull toward it. As he stood in front of it, he noticed something odd. His reflection wasn't moving. It stood still, staring at him with hollow, dark eyes. Frozen in shock, Daniel watched as his reflection slowly began to smile, a twisted, unnatural grin. Panic surged through him as the reflection raised its hand, beckoning him closer. Daniel tried to back away, but his feet were glued to the floor. The reflection leaned forward, its grin widening as it whispered in a voice that echoed in the small room. "You've been chosen." Suddenly, the room grew colder, and the shadows in the mirror began to shift, swirling like a dark vortex. Daniel felt himself being pulled toward the glass, his body no longer under his control. He screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the darkness. The last thing he saw before everything went black was his reflection stepping out of the mirror, leaving him trapped inside. The next morning, the mansion stood as silent as ever. But if anyone looked closely at the forgotten room, they might notice a new reflection in the dusty mirror. Daniel, forever trapped, staring out in horror, waiting for the next curious soul to free him.